Thank you very much, Stephen. We start here tonight. The built environment, better known as the construction sector, has been identified as one of the faces of corruption by the Zondo Commission. The sector has been working hard to shed that reputation since the 2010 FIFA World Cup construction cartel was uncovered. Our business reporter Ntokozo Khumalo was at the Big Five Construct Southern Africa Conference and Expo and spoke to Dr Msizi Myeza on what stakeholders are saying about rooting out corruption and transforming the sector.
Several potholes have been identified as slowing down the growth of the construction industry, and some of those including transformation as well as corruption within the industry. And for a little bit more detail, I am now joined by Msizi Myeza, who is the CEO at the Council for Built Environment. Thank you so much for talking to us. Now, stakeholders are engaging on various topics on what hinders growth in the construction industry. Could you maybe, as a starting point, talk us through transformation, which is a big talking point? How fast is the industry moving in transforming and actually seeing diversity in businesses entering the markets?
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I think, look, these events or platforms like this help us to reflect on the work we're doing. In the main, I can safely say that a lot of interventions by various parties are yielding results, but very slow. So if I were to give an example, our profession, like any other sector of the economy in this country, it's still predominantly dominated by male. So just to give you scary numbers, we are in the built environment profession. We've got about 14% women representation, 29 years later into democracy. That's what we are regulating. And I think as a sector, we can do much more. Just to recite these numbers every time we get an opportunity to be in this podium. And I think that's what we are trying to do now, to say we cannot continue having engagements that are not yielding results. So from here onwards, we will be implementing aggressive measures that are aimed at targeting especially women, especially young people, especially people living with disability, because they are not represented in our profession. So that's really what our message was today.
And just zoning in on the built environment that you obviously represent, some of the major challenge there has been corruption and the poor quality of projects and so on. What is the industry doing to really work on that issue?
Look, we're not going to make an excuse for our colleagues and for us as a profession. I think we have to take a step back and replenish and say to South Africans, we've erred. And I think moving forward, we have to do better. Because we don't want to theorize and philosophize about who does what. And I think wherever there is a corrupt element in our sector, there is always a professional involved. Wherever there is a project delay, there is always a professional involved. And I think we were on a drive now to drive issues of ethics, to say how do we drive ethical behavior, not just because you went through varsity and you're taught about ethics and how to become a good professional. But I think there must be recourse. So it cannot be that you're involved in a project where it was delayed, there were project overruns, you apply so many variations, and then you move on with life. So there must be recourse, and I think that's what we're trying to amplify now, together with our professional council, to say, let's hold each other accountable. But let's support where we can, but where colleagues and there must be recourse. It can't be that public money is used loosely and then nothing happens.
Msizi, thank you so much for your time and talking to us. Of course, that is Msizi Myeza, who is the CEO at the Council for the Built Environment, talking us through some of the issues that are highlighted specifically in the sector that they represent, and those two main issues being issues of corruption and the pace of transformation. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Ntokozo Khumalo in Johannesburg.